it's Amanda from Love and Renovations, and today we are talking about one of the simplest but maybe most important little DIY tasks around the home, and that is how to clean a paintbrush. If you've done any painting, you will know that paintbrushes are expensive. I don't know about you, but I cannot be replacing them every single time I have a painting project. I'm very quick to toss away paint rollers, but when it comes to the brushes, I really want to be able to use them at least a few times. So it's really important to take care to get them clean whenever you're done painting. This is one of those tasks that can be a little deceptively complicated. Cleaning a paintbrush is super easy, but you have to know what you're doing in order to make sure that it doesn't get really stiff on you. I've used this paintbrush 4 or 5 times, and as you can see, it still has lots of pliability, really great bristles. It's not hardened at all. Let me show you my tricks. The first thing to keep in mind is actually something that comes into play as you are painting. When you are dipping your paintbrush into your paint tray, paint bucket, paint can, whatever you're using, the key is you don't want to dip it too far. You don't want to go past maybe the first third of the bristles. If you dip paint in all the way up to here, then that gets paint into these little pieces of the paintbrush, and it is really hard to get that out. So as you're getting paint, you want to go no further than about that. Brush it off, and this is a good amount to paint with. Do not be dipping your paintbrush in all the way up here, getting paint all over here, because not only does it make a mess, it makes it way harder to clean. All right, so you've finished your painting project. You've done a good job of keeping the paint only on the lower third of the bristles, and now it is time to clean. As you can see, I do all of my paintbrush cleaning right in my regular kitchen sink. This might be a controversial choice, but I find that paint is really easy to clean off this stainless steel surface. I don't have a problem with it at all, and so it's what I've always done and will continue to do. I said what I said. You're gonna wanna rinse out your paintbrush, and as you're holding your paintbrush, it is key that you always face it downwards when you're rinsing it off. If you flip the paintbrush up like this to rinse it off, that's gonna push all of the paint up into these higher parts of the bristles, and that's when you get stiffening. Instead, always hold it this way. Make sure that you're rinsing the paint out of the paintbrush and not back up into the paintbrush. Now, despite your very best efforts, it sometimes is impossible not to get paint up into this part of the paintbrush. I have been doing this for years and I still make the mistake every once in a while. So if you need to get up into this part to clean, here's how I do it. If you have to work with the water flowing into the top of the paintbrush like this, just make sure that you're also spending the time to spread apart the bristles, make sure you're getting all of the paint out, and that you're not leaving anything up in those bristles. When it comes to paintbrushes that have a lot of gunk buildup, or maybe if you're just having a hard time doing a good job cleaning your paintbrush, a tool like this can be really useful. As you can see, it's got some combs all along the top, and that helps you get maybe some dried out paint or paint that's gotten further up into the bristles all the way out. The final step is maybe the most important one of all. When you are done rinsing out your paintbrush, you don't have any paint in it left, you're not finished. There is a ton of extra water sitting in this paintbrush. All of that extra water still has little paint particles in it, and as it dries, it's going to stiffen your bristles. So if all you do is rinse the paintbrush off and then set it down, you're gonna be disappointed in the results. Always take a minute to flick the extra water off of the paintbrush like so. By the time you're finished, the paintbrush should just be damp. Then I set it on the edge of my sink to dry the rest of the way. Keeping clean paintbrushes is not difficult or complicated, but it does take a little bit of finesse and nuance to know what you're doing. With these super simple tricks, I promise you, your paintbrushes are gonna have a really long life. You will not be constantly replacing them, and you're gonna be a lot happier with the results you're getting. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out the rest of my DIY for Beginners series. I have tutorials on how to use power tools, how to do all sorts of other basic things around the house, and I promise that they're all really quick and accessible. So if you're trying to get into learning more about how to take care of projects around the house, you might find them helpful. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. Stick around so you don't miss the next video.